Sumeet Bagadia, Associate Director, Choice Broking, to talk to us about the market. Sumeet, today the Nifty is not able to hold up above the 9100 level, but we still made a new all-time high. Till about Friday, the Nifty was struggling to even go over 9,000. Now we're closer to 9100. So do you think the Nifty is heading only higher from here on?
Anisha, the question is for me.
Yes, Sumeet. Where do you think the Nifty is headed?
Hi, good afternoon. Well, I think after today's breakout, we see that Nifty is looking strong on charts, and now immediately what we can sense is that Nifty is headed for 9150-9200 levels as an immediate target. And overall, for next couple of months, we are expecting Nifty to be in 5-digit. That means we are expecting Nifty to touch 10,000 levels soon in next 3 to 4 months time horizon. As far as very short-term trading bet is concerned, for a couple of days, one can initiate long position in Nifty at CMP with a stop loss to be placed at 9,000 levels on lower side for an immediate upside till 9150 and 9200 levels.
And what would be your top picks for the immediate near term?
Well, we are expecting few sectors to outperform, among which housing finance is the first sector where we are expecting sector to perform very good. And as far as stocks are concerned, we are expecting a good upside move in LIC housing finance, in which we are expecting stock to move up by 30 to 40 points from present levels. That means on higher side, we are expecting stock to touch levels of around 600 as an immediate target. And if 600 is taken away, then we can see extended rally till 625 levels. So we feel that one should initiate long position in housing finance stocks like DHFL, LIC Housing Finance, HDFC. And if anyone wants to select one pick, then that should be LIC Housing Finance for an immediate upside till 625 levels.
All right. So you like housing finance companies, especially LIC Housing Finance. What about some of the auto names or the bank names that have had a good run? Today, ICICI Bank has moved up well, Maruti has moved up well. Any calls on these two counters?
Yes, absolutely. See, banking stocks has given a good move today, and ICICI Bank has given a move of around 6%. I think immediately the stock is headed for 300 levels, and once if 300 is taken away on closing basis, then we will see a decent up move in the counter, in which we can see a move around 8 to 10% in next 2 to 3 months time horizon. Overall, our targets on ICICI Bank are 325. For a trading perspective, if anyone wants to initiate a position in ICICI Bank at CMP, then they can initiate, because overall it's looking good on charts, and immediately we can see a levels of around 295 and 300 as a immediate target for ICICI Bank. As far as auto bank is concerned, auto stocks are looking good to me, whether it's Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj, Ashok Leyland, Mahindra and Mahindra. And you specially asked a question on Maruti. Well, see, Maruti is a good counter. After a small correction and consolidation, we have seen a pullback move in the counter. Now, immediately the stock is headed for 6,300 levels. Once if 6,300 is taken away convincingly, then we will see extended rally till 6,500 levels. So overall, Maruti is looking good. One should stay invested in Maruti.
All right, so now we're just seconds away from the markets shutting shop for the day. Good run for the Sensex and the Nifty, gains about 1.5% at close. ONGC flat, Axis Bank seeing a cut to 1% on a day with the Bank Nifty has made a new record high. BHEL up 2%, Bank of Baroda up 1%, Power Grid up 0.5%, Reliance up 0.5%, Tata Motors up 0.25%. ICICI Bank was the biggest gainer of the day and has held on to gains about 6% at close. So a big day for ICICI with a big candle and large volumes as well. L&T also was one that saw good gains, up 4%. And we've seen a close above 9,000 for the Nifty for the first time ever. So last time when the markets did make a record high around 9,119, we had seen significant profit taking coming in the same day, and Nifty never saw a close above 9,000. Today we're closer to 9,100, so the close above 9,000 is truly record breaking for the Nifty today. HDFC up 3.5%. All the housing finance majors, in fact, had a good run today. Ambuja Cements up 2%. Asian Paints up 3.5%. We've seen the likes of HUL move up well. Gains about 4.5%. Sun Pharma up 3.5%. Wipro up nearly 3%. 500 rupees coming in for Wipro. Cipla up 2%. M&M up 2%. Maruti up 3%. Great day coming in for stocks today. Yes, Bank was up 3% and made a new record high. We also have Tata Power up 2%. Dr. Reddy's up 1%, Ultratech up 4%, Bosch saw some profit taking by the end of the day, down 2%, and Dr. Reddy's up 1%, SPI also up 1%. Let's take a look at a few stocks that have moved up very well on strong volumes. SPI was one where the volumes are pretty high. 15 million shares changing hands for SPI. Upendra, you also had LIC Housing Finance as your top pick. Now, wanted to understand what you make of the NBFCs and notably PFC and REC, the government-owned electricity financing companies. Both of these stocks have seen strong moves. Would you recommend these two stocks to investors with a long-term horizon?
Anisha, definitely I would recommend these stocks. Disclaimer, I am holding REC, but simultaneously, see, there is a growth in the power sector which is happening, and each of the village we are touching now of the potential, for reaching the electricity. There is a huge amount of funding which is happening for taking care of this expansion. So the companies like REC and PFC, the valuations, if you really look at it, they are relatively cheaper. They've been government owned, and in the power sector, the traditional valuation games have been applied to them. So I believe that these are the ones which we can definitely take a sort of a refuge to for financial services point of view, as well as from the improvement in the economy of the country. And I guess there is a huge opportunity in both these stocks. You can also add Power Grid to that this thing. Of course, slightly business models are different of these companies, but they are all interconnected. And these three stocks, I believe, will give a substantial return if somebody holds it for the next few years.
Right. Upendra, today we saw some good news coming in for Sun Pharma. It managed to close up 3.5%. Do you think that for the entire pharmaceutical sector, now it will become better from here on? It's taken 4 years for resolution of the Mohali facility. Sun has inherited this from Ranbaxy. But from here on, does it get any better for the entire industry as such?
See, Anisha, this is a great news for Sun Pharma. There is no doubt. The plant which was pending, utilization in a proper way, been used after 4 years or maybe a little longer, I guess. It's a great news. So that is, from company's perspective, it's a very, very positive thing. Second is, from industry perspective, one has to really keep in mind, the industry has changed over the period, last 7-8 years, if you take a look at it. From a defensive bets, when you looked at defensive bets, it was always pharma and, FMCG. But pharma has become a little more aggressive or speculative as compared to what it was earlier, because there is a huge exposure to US and US FDAs and all those related things, and that's the way it's a little more volatile than what it was earlier. After saying this, I would say that this sector is lying low for a long time, and it's gone through enough issues as far as US FDAs or any other issues are concerned. And I guess it's a time for re-rating, because a substantial part of this sector, you have to remember, it's been sold in India as well. So that part plus exports. So I guess it's a question of time now before this sector starts doing better than what it is doing, and it will give a decent return, if not abnormal returns. And in case if any of these companies are able to sell any of the products to US, that is another opportunity which exists, maybe for shorter period, I guess. So these are the great companies to get into. That's what my view is.
Right. Sumeet, today we've seen a good move coming into Wipro. I think you had recommended this counter and given a target of 520 for this. Would you hold that target for Wipro? What would you do with Infosys and TCS?
Well, see, IT stocks are looking good to me, because after a long correction and consolidation, now stock has turned bullish, and most of the stocks have started giving a breakout move. As far as your question on Wipro is concerned, today it has given a closing above 200 DMA, which was placed at around 498, 500 levels. I think immediately the stock is headed for 525, 530 levels, and overall the structure of Wipro is looking good to me. What I can sense from the charts is that one can initiate long position in Wipro at CMP, and those who have taken long positions at lower levels, they can can hold on the existing positions with the trailing stop loss to be placed at around 490 levels on lower side. 490 should be the trailing stop loss, and a fresh stop loss for long positions, those who initiate at present levels, for an immediate upside till 525 and 530 levels in next couple of days.
Right. Do you have a view on VIP Industries and Ballarpur Industries? Strong moves being seen in these two counters on large volume, Sumeet. What would you say?
Well, out of the two, we will select VIP as a good bet. VIP has already given a very good move in last couple of days, and today we have seen a very good move from low levels. That means a move of around almost 20 rupees from the levels of 160. Now, immediately the stock is looking good only. Those who have taken long positions at low levels, they can hold on the existing positions, and fresh buy can be initiated if we see a dip of around 8 to 10 points from present levels. Immediately, the stock is headed for 200 levels. That means a move of around 8 to 10% can be seen in next couple of weeks. One can initiate fresh long positions if we see a small correction from present levels, and any existing long positions, traders can hold on the existing long positions with a stop loss to be placed at around 160 levels for an immediate upside till 200 levels. Overall, the counter is looking good. One can hold on their positions.
All right, Upendra, from here on, what would you do with some of the bank names? Let's leave aside ICICI and Axis. What about some of the PSU bank names? SBI has come up to 274, but we're not seeing big moves again coming to the PSU bank names, be it SBI, PNB or Bank of Baroda. There's also news about a one-time settlement scheme that SBI has now come out with for tractor loans. Are you worried about something like this for some of the PSU banks? How would you view PSU banks?
See, that uncertainty of government owning this bank and government dictating certain things would always be there. Okay, but I guess it is factored into the prices. As far as performance is concerned, there were two major factors for these banks. One is the NPA level, and second is
capitalization required. For these banks, basically because a lot of erosion of capital has happened thanks to the NPA. As far as NPAs are concerned, I think they're still there, but substantially it's been brought into the line, and whatever is there, broadly it is open into the public arm. So, that is one part of it. Obviously, second question which is remaining is the capitalization. And third is, and how going forward these banks will perform as far as the NPAs or, overall performance is concerned, because they have been giving the market share to the private sector hand, because of various reasons. So, these questions are there. Given that, there is a distinction between performing banks in the PSUs and not so good performing as far as other PSU banks are concerned. So in the first lot, I would say State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, these are the banks who I would definitely take into account. So these are the great banks, and one can take a chance on these banks. As far as other banks, private sector banks, you have asked, referring to your question, is I believe there is an opportunity into the upcoming banks. Something like Ratnagar Bank, RBL. That is one good opportunity according to me. There is a momentum is a little more, into these stocks, and their price momentum also will be up and down both ways, but I guess that's one good opportunity which is there. And if somebody wants longer term, along with the economic growth, something like HDFC Bank is the best bank to be in.
All right, Sumeet, what would you do with some of the real estate names like DLF and HDIL? DLF, just a few sessions back, saw a big red candle on the charts. Would you look at high levels for selling this stock, or do you think the stock can head back to levels of 170 or so?
See, Anisha, as far as real estate stocks are concerned, I'm not that convinced with the buying position in real estate stocks. Overall, the stocks are moving in a range. As far as your question on DLF is concerned, a stock is moving in a range of around 135, 137 on lower side to 152, 153 on higher side. I think it's better to avoid long positions, because the overall structure what we are seeing is a range bound move in most of the real estate stocks. As far as DLF is concerned, one should initiate long positions only if the stock is able to give clear-cut conviction and breakout above 152, 153 levels. Till the time these levels are not taken away, it's better to avoid the counter, because there are many other sectors and stock which are available at good prices and wherein we can see a very good upside move. Same is the case with SDIL. SDIL has given a good move, but I'm not that convinced with the buying position in SDIL. It's better to avoid long position in SDIL too. Immediately there is a possibility that we might see a move around 4 to 5 rupees from present levels, but it's better to avoid the counter.
All right, better to avoid stocks in the real estate space. Sumeet and Upinder, thanks so much for being with us on NDTV Profit and talking to us about your picks and where the markets are headed.